Jasmine Crockett just detonated a scandal live on stage. She revealed shocking evidence that Donald Trump has been secretly maintaining not one, but two hidden families, completely concealed from the American public. Names, dates, addresses, financial records, it's all here, she declared, holding up a thick folder as cameras zoomed in. This man who preaches family values to millions has been living a double, even triple life. The truth is in these documents, and the truth cannot be hidden any longer. Within 10 seconds, the audience knew exactly what was at stake. The image of Trump as a strong, loyal family man had just been shattered into pieces. The room exploded in gasps. Reporters scribbled furiously. Phones lit up with breaking alerts, and social media caught fire instantly. Hashtags like Trump's secret families and double life shot into the top trends within minutes. Viewers across the country sat frozen, listening as Crockett flipped through the evidence. School payments routed through obscure accounts, property leases under pseudonyms, transfers traced directly back to Trump-owned corporations. Each page, each number, felt like another nail hammered into the coffin of his public persona. Trump's face flushed red, his jaw tight, his fists clenched on the podium. He leaned toward his microphone, muttering, "This is disgusting, lies, fake news, fabricated by the radical left." But his voice cracked, and the cameras caught the tremor. This wasn't the defiant Trump audiences had come to expect. This was a man caught off guard, cornered by receipts that could not be dismissed with slogans. Crockett seized the silence that followed. "The American people deserve to know the truth," she declared. "You lecture us about morality while hiding entire lives in the shadows. You scream about loyalty while betraying the very values you pretend to stand for. Tonight, your secrets are no longer safe." The hall erupted, a mixture of cheers, boos, and raw disbelief. What began as a debate had transformed into a scandal that promised to dominate headlines for weeks to come. The shockwaves from Jasmine Crockett's revelation were immediate. Within minutes, news networks across the country broke into their regular programming to replay the explosive clip. CNN's headline blared across the bottom of the screen. "Crockett: Trump hid two secret families." MSNBC anchors leaned forward, visibly stunned, calling it the most personal and damning revelation yet. Even Fox News, typically loyal to Trump, couldn't ignore the footage, though they scrambled to frame it as a politically motivated smear. The split screens told the story best. On one side, Crockett holding up files, calm and unshaken. On the other, Trump fidgeting, red-faced, muttering denials. Social media detonated. Hashtags like doxed Trump secret families, double life. Crockett exposes dominated Twitter within minutes. TikTok users posted reaction videos, mouths wide open as they replayed the clip of Crockett slamming down the evidence. Instagram was flooded with memes, split images of Trump's face overlaid with captions like "family values" or "how many families, Donald?" Reddit threads dissected every detail, with users combing through old photos and resurfacing rumors that suddenly looked far less like gossip. But perhaps the most telling reaction came from within Trump's own orbit. His aides rushed to the press with rehearsed lines. "This is outrageous, totally fabricated. President Trump has always been committed to his family." Yet their voices lacked conviction. Reporters pressed them with questions they couldn't answer. Why are there overlapping financial records? Why are their properties linked to unknown family members? Their evasions only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, Crockett doubled down. Speaking to reporters after the debate, she reiterated, "These are not rumors. These are documented truths." While Trump was parading himself as the symbol of American family values, he was hiding not one, but 2 entire households from the people who trusted him. That isn't leadership. That's deception. By the end of the night, the narrative was set. Trump's image as a family man had been cracked wide open. What had once been whispered in shadows was now screamed across headlines. Jasmine Crockett stepped closer to the podium, the folder still in her hand. "You want specifics?" she said, her voice sharp enough to cut through the tension. "Let's talk specifics. Page 114. Monthly payments of $45,000 wired to a private account in Florida under the name of Maria Alvarez. Those payments coincide with property records for a home in Palm Beach registered to her. And the kicker? School tuition receipts for 2 children, both signed off under an alias that traces directly back to Donald Trump's business entities. These are not rumors. These are transactions." The audience gasped. Crockett flipped to another page, her fingers steady. Page 231, Las Vegas. A condo purchased in cash, deeded to a trust with Trump's signature buried 3 layers deep. That property houses another woman, Elena Rossi, and 2 more children. Financial records show private health insurance payments, luxury expenses, even travel arrangements, all routed through shell companies linked to the Trump Organization. These families exist. They are living, breathing proof of the double life Donald Trump has tried to bury. Trump's face twisted, his hands slamming down on the podium. "Lies! Total lies!" he barked. "I don't know these people. Never heard of them." But his desperation only amplified the spectacle. The cameras caught every flicker of panic, every bead of sweat, and social media lit up with side-by-side clips of Crockett reading calmly while Trump unraveled. Crockett pressed harder. This man stood before America preaching loyalty, family values, and Christian virtue. All the while, he funneled millions of dollars to 2 secret households, hidden in plain sight. These children didn't ask to be pawns in a lie. These women didn't ask to be erased from the truth. But tonight, their existence can no longer be denied. The audience erupted in applause, while news outlets scrambled to push breaking alerts with the names and details. Hashtags shifted again. Trump double life, hidden families, Crockett exposes truth. In one evening, Trump's carefully crafted image as a family man had been obliterated, and Jasmine Crockett wasn't finished yet. Trump finally snapped. His fist slammed against the podium so hard that the microphones rattled. "You're disgusting!" he shouted, his voice rising above the gasps in the hall. "A total fraud! You don't care about truth. You care about attention. You're nothing but a radical puppet, a failed lawyer, pretending to be a leader. And you dare to stand there and lecture me, the greatest president this country ever had? You're pathetic." His words poured out in a frenzy, each insult sharper than the last. But instead of silencing the crowd, they only made him look unhinged. The audience stirred uneasily. Cameras zoomed in on Trump's contorted face, his neck flushed red, his finger jabbing the air toward Crockett like a weapon. It was the classic Trump attack: discredit, demean, dominate. But tonight, it was failing. Viewers at home watched not the strong man they once knew, but a man unraveling under pressure. Crockett let him rage, arms folded, her expression calm and unshaken. When he finally paused to catch his breath, she leaned into her mic. "You can call me whatever you want," she said, her tone ice cold. "But insults don't erase evidence. Screaming doesn't change the truth. And pointing your finger at me doesn't hide the fact that you were pointing your money at 2 secret households for years." The hall erupted in cheers. Reporters scribbled furiously. Commentators whispered live into their earpieces. Crockett pressed the advantage. You think the American people will be distracted by name-calling? They won't. They've seen the receipts. They've seen the payments. And now they've seen you lose control because you know it's real. This isn't about me, Mr. Trump. It's about you and your lies. Trump tried to interject again, but the applause drowned him out. The once dominant showman was now a spectacle of desperation. Crockett had turned his own tactics against him, proving that no insult could shield him from the storm of truth she had unleashed. The tension in the chamber had reached a boiling point. Trump's insults still hung in the air, but the damage was already done. The crowd had seen a man unravel, and Jasmine Crockett was ready to twist the knife with cold, unflinching precision. She raised the documents again, flipping through them with deliberate slowness. For years, she began, her voice carrying over the restless murmurs. Donald Trump sold America an image, a loyal husband, a devoted father, the picture of family values. He wrapped himself in morality, lectured the nation about loyalty and honor, and attacked anyone who dared to question his so-called character. She paused, letting the irony sink in. But tonight, the mask is off. Behind the speeches and slogans, behind the rallies and slogans, lies the truth. Donald Trump has been living a double life, hiding two families from the very people he swore to lead. The audience erupted in gasps and shouts. The press gallery scribbling furiously as cameras zoomed in on Crockett's face. She continued, her tone sharper now. This isn't just about betrayal of his wife. This isn't just about betrayal of his voters. This is about betrayal of the very values he used as weapons to divide America. He condemned others for moral failings while secretly funneling millions into the shadows to support households he pretended didn't exist. That isn't leadership. That is hypocrisy on a scale this country has never seen. Trump muttered something into his microphone, but the jeers from the audience drowned him out. Crockett's voice only grew stronger. You told us you were the champion of family. You told us you stood for Christian virtue, loyalty, and truth. But these pages tell the real story. 2 homes, 4 children, payments buried under shell companies, trips disguised as business. All while you told America you were fighting for them. The only thing you were fighting for was yourself. The crowd erupted again, some in fury, some in applause, but all swept into the storm Crockett had unleashed. For the first time, the moral high ground Trump had clung to was not just eroded, it was obliterated. By now, the scandal had consumed the entire chamber. Reporters were no longer just documenting a debate, they were broadcasting a political implosion. The audience, restless and divided, leaned in as Donald Trump struggled to find words. But the real blow came not from Jasmine Crockett's documents, nor from her fiery words. It came from his own allies. On live television, the first cracks in Trump's fortress appeared. Several Republican lawmakers, usually vocal defenders, were seen whispering among themselves, avoiding eye contact with the cameras. One prominent senator released a carefully worded statement during the broadcast. If true, these revelations are deeply concerning, and we urge full transparency. The phrasing was vague, but its meaning was unmistakable. It was a retreat, a subtle step away from unconditional loyalty. Crockett seized the moment. You see what's happening, don't you? She said, her voice cutting through the buzz. Notice how quiet your friends have become. Notice how the same people who defended you for years suddenly have nothing to say. That silence is not protection. It's abandonment. Because even they know the truth cannot be buried anymore. The crowd roared in approval, chants of, "Tell the truth," echoing through the hall. Trump, desperate, jabbed his finger toward the audience. "They're weak. They're cowards. They don't know what I've done for them." His voice cracked, his words spilling out in anger, but the effect was devastating. The once commanding strong man now looked like a man begging for loyalty he no longer commanded. Social media lit up with screenshots of senators looking uneasy, clips of Trump's outburst juxtaposed with Crockett's calm precision. Hashtags like "Abandon Trump" and "The Crockett Exposes" trended alongside the "Trump double life." The narrative was no longer about whether the documents were real. It was about how quickly his world was collapsing. Crockett delivered her final strike of the night. "You built your empire on fear and loyalty, but tonight fear turned to shame, and loyalty turned to silence. The truth is louder than your lies, and no one can hide from it, not even you." The audience leapt to their feet, the ovation drowning Trump's sputtering protests. The tide had turned, and Jasmine Crockett stood in full command of the stage. The chamber thundered with noise, cheers, boos, chants. But it was unmistakable who now controlled the stage. Donald Trump stood at his podium, red-faced, his words lost in the storm. His denials sounded smaller with each repetition, drowned by the crowd and overshadowed by the mountain of evidence Jasmine Crockett had laid before the nation. For years, Trump's image as a family man had been his shield. Tonight, that shield was shattered. Crockett raised her hand, commanding silence, and the room obeyed. Her voice carried with calm authority, sharp and unrelenting. "Let's end the games. Tonight we saw proof, not rumors, not speculation, but proof that Donald Trump has hidden two entire families from the American people. While he stood at podiums preaching loyalty and family values, he was wiring money to secret households, signing checks under false names, and living a double life. That isn't strength. That isn't leadership. That is betrayal." Trump tried one last time to interject, but the audience erupted in chants of "Liar! Liar!" His face hardened, but his silence was louder than any defense he could muster. Crockett pressed forward, her tone now rising like a verdict. "To the American people watching at home, you deserve honesty. You deserve leaders who don't hide their lives in the shadows while demanding your trust. Tonight was not about me. It was about truth. And the truth is simple. Donald Trump betrayed his family, betrayed his voters, and betrayed this country with his lies." The ovation that followed was deafening. Reporters stood on their chairs to capture the moment. Phones across the room broadcast it live, and social media platforms exploded with new hashtags. Trump double life, families exposed, Crockett reveals truth. The image of Trump, humiliated and cornered, next to Crockett standing strong with documents in hand, became the defining snapshot of the night. As the debate drew to a close, Crockett looked directly into the camera, her voice steady. "If you want more than lies, if you want more than spin, then stay with us. Because this fight for truth has only just begun." The lights dimmed, the broadcast ended, but the impact lingered. A secret no longer hidden, a scandal impossible to bury, and a political earthquake that would shake America for weeks to come.